Hi, folks. It's Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I hope everyone is doing well tonight, and I hope my voice is coming through good and clear. So, we're going to talk about a lot of the dynamics that are going on. And it makes me think, I don't know, a lot of you probably remember the old black and white shows, Jack Benny and different variety shows. They had one guy who used to come out and put plates on sticks and spin them. And then he put another plate on a stick and spin them. Next thing you knew, all over the stage, you had all these plates spinning. Some of them would wobble and look like they're going to fall. And he'd get there just in time, spin them. And I mean, I'm talking a long time ago. But that's what it seems like is going on. And a lot of plates are spinning, can't fall down. But the thing is that they're not our plates spinning. Okay, if you look at the hoaxes, the distractions, the scams, and look at them as each one as a plate on a stick spinning, and you're the guy or the group that's got to keep them all spinning, or they're all going to start falling down. And Trump's just sitting there watching the plates being spun and watching them fall, watching them wobble. And every now and then you stick your foot out there and trip them up. But I'll tell you what, as we go into this coming week here, we got 1 week. Tomorrow is 6 days for Mr. T to take his oath of office. You think they're going to let it be a joyous occasion? You think they're going to settle for burning down L.A., having the state of California in chaos, and see what happens? Funny how we don't hear any more about all those hundreds of drones. There was a report I saw that Biden supposedly didn't request. The report was worded that Biden gave the order to Israel to bomb Tehran or the nuclear sites in Iran. I'll put it that way. Prior to January 20th. So there's a lot of other cards on the table and a lot of plates spinning. So they're going to start falling down. We're going to see how that works out. I don't believe they're going to let Trump have a really great celebration. What he's striving for is a show of unity, a show of a bigger tent. Okay, buying the nation's wounds, like the communists like to say, forward, unity, let's move forward. No, they're going to try to trip it up every way they can. Ha, Gary's the first one in the house. How you doing, Gary? Todd's here. Wayne said, give me a thumbs up. I agree. Hi, Sissy. How are you doing? Pappy Two Bears. Todd. Darla. Sandy's here. Melinda, Gloria. Hi, Sherry. How you doing? So we got Sandy's here, Debbie, Gary. All right. M. McCarthy. Quiet on New Orleans. Oh, well, good. Still keep your eyes peeled. 13 BLT. How you doing? Nice to see you, Justin Bean. So, anyway. As you sit there and cogitate on it, it would be impossible to try to divine what would happen next. I mean, who would have thought that you would look down and see tens of thousands of structures burning? Well, how many was it? 14,000 at last count. It's up to 26 people have lost their lives. It is a jaw-dropping catastrophe. And, I thought about it a couple of nights ago. I didn't bring it up, though. I was talking about other points. In 1944, the Japanese did a special mission, and they sent long-range bombers. And it was up in the Pacific Northwest. They had spies up there. They saw all that timber, and they made this calculation: we could go up and drop incendiary bombs in the old growth forests up in the Pacific Northwest and start a conflagration that would inhibit our ability to back then, PT-109 boats were built out of wood. Not a lot of people know that. They were pretty much plywood with wood frames. We did a lot of things with wood. And it was the first step in a sabotage and homeland strikes on the U.S. And they made it. They made it. I think it's the only time this country has ever been bombed by a foreign country, was that mission. And it just petered out. Oh, my screen froze. Wait a second. There we go. Wait a minute. So I don't know how many of you have ever heard of that or remember that. How you doing, Phil? Nice to see you. Darla's here. Let's see. Rick, how you doing, Rick? So this is something Hirohito and Japanese generals could only have fantasized about, this kind of damage. This is a greater loss of structures, an area of damage than the London Blitzkrieg by the Germans. And I feel pretty confident in saying that. I mean, if you look up the stats on that, they didn't cause this much destruction. They didn't. And more and more evidence coming out about arsonists and tunnels. Those of you with me with my broadcast last night, I showed you a video where they uncovered that tunnel going underneath the border from Mexico into the USA. And they think that tunnel's only like 5 months old. It was, I think, discovered because of a snitch. Fresh timbers, sophisticated construction. Those cartels are worth billions and billions of dollars. 6 foot high tunnel, 4 feet wide. Piece of cake. How many more are there? So I forget her name. She was doing a podcast on X. And she brought up that she's going to be doing broadcasts focusing on the tunnels of LA. And she kind of threw a teaser out there. I'm sure we'll hear more about it. And of course, my audience is much more sophisticated, much more versed in the things that are going on. They know about the tunnels underneath the Getty Museum, the Getty properties, I'll put it that way, tying in with the I guess I can say this now, that he's been convicted and put away forever. Nexium. What was that guy's name in Nexium? Never mind, don't put it in the chats. You all know who I'm talking about. Nygaard, that's right. Peter is his first name. And that's the first name of the person who made that quote I put on my thumbnail. Because in this hailstorm of disclosures and stories and events that we're dealing with, and I hope it doesn't get the average person to shut down and tune out. It gets overwhelming. But there's going to be even more coming down. And for people that have never heard about the things that I'm talking about, they're going to need somebody to give them a primer. You know, I wouldn't get into too much, and I've counseled this in my own humble way in the past. Don't get into lizard people. Don't get into the Antarctic. Don't get into Peter Nygaard with Nexium having a human trafficking cult with the heiress for Bacardi rum, remember? And the a star of Smallville doing prison time. Okay? That's a good starter. If you tie that in with the Epsteinio stuff everybody knows about, that is a good place to start. Tunnels under the Playboy Mansion, everybody's been hearing about that. So people will start thinking, oh, tunnels under the Getty Museum, tunnels under the Nexium compound, stars, heiresses, Epstein, people are going to start to wonder. Hi, Ronald. How are you doing? I'm just looking at some of the chats. Oh, Betty White's home got bulldozed. I didn't know that. Yeah, she was turned out to be kind of creepy. Hanford in Eastern Washington. Oh, it's hard to say what's going on. Bill Gates is from Washington, isn't he? And that is where the first case of the CVID came from, in nursing homes. I believe it was Washington. So I'm sure there's a lot of, because what's Bill Gates known for? Well, he's tied into all this stuff anyway. But he's also unequivocally a proponent of depopulation, which people, why people wouldn't be concerned about this man talking like this with his power and wealth. But yet they focus on Elon Musk. They want to tear him down because he's got money and supporting Trump, but they ignore somebody with buying up farmland, talking about reducing the population is a necessity, promoting these experiments, I call them, the things in your shoulder. Nobody bats an eye about that. That's from media manipulation. Media manipulation. So we got a lot of hoity-toity, wealthy people, and not so much wealthy, with the extent of the damage. Average people also, average for California, being wiped out. Getting these empty promises. Oh, Biden says you get whatever you need. You just, it's like Gavin Newsom said, I think it's the first time there's been that huge amount of aid granted via text message. Did you hear that? No, that's not the way it works. You don't text out. Yeah, boy, whatever you want. Who texted? Who's making the decisions? We know Joe can't even hold his bowels. So that is another issue on top of the pile of issues that I think we're going to find a common thread that will tie into many of the things that we've been struggling with going on 10 years. Dan Scavino put a post out 9 years ago today, and that was yesterday. I didn't put it up, but it was a Trump Force One after it had been converted 9 years ago. And even before then for the big players. But for us, we've been in this battle for 9 years. 9 years. A decade is knocking on the door. So, yeah, spell check Senator for Biden. So, yeah, that's right, Todd. Let's start with them for depopulation. I was there's a number of things that are just kind of forgotten about that I'm still considering. For instance, Trump saying that the day after his inauguration, there will be disclosure about the drones. And I bring that up because Trump is the one who brought up multiple times that they've been going around Bedminster. He said 2 times, 2 separate occasions, like 5 days apart, that Bedminster appeared to be their focus. Excuse me while I was sipping my coffee. Boy, that was good. So Bedminster, and those of you who watch me a lot, please forgive me for repeating myself. Bedminster is the location Trump went to immediately upon learning that the Obama administration and the deep state had bugged his transition office at Trump Towers in New York after Admiral Rogers told him Bedminster is, in my way of thinking, the alternate facility, okay, the real second White House, where a lot of sensitive stuff is kept. Adam Schiff made a weak attempt about 2 months ago to try to get Bedminster raided. That didn't even get covered on the press. And I said a year ago, they might have done what they did to Mar-a-Lago, but you ain't going to see them in Bedminster. Okay, that's going to when the military would get involved. Because we're talking about national security. And Trump said, well, a couple times, I'm staying away from Bedminster. I'm not going to Bedminster. And having these people called, they kissing his ring, but people bending the knee to Trump, probably trying to cut some kind of plea bargain deal, whatever, down at Mar-a-Lago. But I would be willing to wager that Bedminster has been very, very busy. And the drones, I still say, were deep surveillance in the immediate area around Bedminster. And I think Trump's probably been there more than he's let on. So anyway, we will find out. Wouldn't it be something if Trump told us, hey, I had to have my friend Fred here, and a guy comes, stands next to him, looks exactly like him down in Mar-a-Lago, and because I had stuff to do in Bedminster, and these people are dangerous. They proved that when they got rid of Kennedy. So anyway, speaking of bending the knee, did you hear about Jeff Bezos is giving Melania, well, she is granting him a contract, I guess, for her story. A documentary, $40 million for her experiences at the White House and what's going to be happening during this transition. She gave an interview on Fox News. I might download a clip of that and play it on one of my next broadcasts, because she doesn't get covered very much at all. But she expressed how nasty she was, the people were, when they were interacting with her at the White House, and that the Obamas gave them very little information before they moved in. She didn't even know what the room locations, or nobody cooperated with her. That's what I got from it. Well, that's going to be quite a different situation this time. But the reason I put the thumbnail up of "We Will Stop Him," which is a quote from Peter Strzok, who I think I only mentioned it one time. His origins, I believe he's a dual citizen with Ukraine, like Vindman. I think, how do you spell his name? Stzrok, I believe. It's a weird spelling. Trump has commented on it before, the difficulty in pronunciation and spelling. But he's the one who texted Lisa Page, "We will stop him." Well, that fits right in with this report that came out that 50% of the federal bureaucracy, workforce, whatever you want to call it, has said that they were going to resist Trump, that they were going to work against the Trump administration. They're that arrogant. They're that arrogant. Maybe they're going to work against the will of the people. They're going to work against the democratic process. They're not going to follow their oath. How many people? I looked it up one time and said it on broadcast. Oh, by the way, Peter Strzok is also C.I. Okay, and then A. Like Adam Schiff. That's the case. We get any newbies coming in here, and this is not just me talking out of my backside. These are facts. We've got a lot of people running for Congress that are, you can't say former, because you're never former C.I. Okay, A. So we got a nation within a nation, an army within an army that has been formed, and colloquially it's called the deep state. But anyway, so it's like 3.5 million. Hi, this is Justin. How you doing? Jerry, how you doing? Wanda, nice to see you. Cheryl. Yeah, Rebecca said, give me a like and a share, a thumbs up. I appreciate that. I believe there's been a lot of replacements too, Gary. I really do. And a lot of people who haven't been replaced, but have got their chops smacked, psychologically speaking, with the reality of how things are going to be and whether or not they're going to play ball. Hilarious. How you doing? Yeah, I showed a video of the one they discovered the other day. I showed a video last night of one they built about 5 months ago. So anyway, so if you got that many, 3.5 million, and there's 50% of them responding, they're going, you're talking about 1.7, I guess my math is roughly right, 1.75 million. And if you factor in the ones who would be too afraid to answer yes, or too, in their own way, crafty, devious, smart, whatever you want to call it, to answer yes, but are really going to be resistant, you're looking at close to 2 million people. And maybe that's what it's going to take to justify and actually achieve what Trump wants to achieve, which is a drastic and permanent reduction in the federal workforce. Give them enough rope. Their social media has been burning up the stratosphere for years. They can't erase it. You get to go back and look through it. And just by some of their social media posts alone would be enough justification to relieve them of their duties and responsibilities. Goodbye. And some of them even more than that. You know, I was looking at that video again of that fire chief or whatever she was saying, well, if your husband's laying in a burning building, I guess he's in the wrong place. And I'm thinking to myself, California, where they have those obnoxious, criminal, hideous parades in front of little ones, where they live a life in a dream world of hedonism and irresponsibility, while meanwhile telling everybody else how to live their lives. And it dawned on me, boy, can you imagine what their social media looks like? Can you imagine what kind of communications they may have had with people that you shouldn't talk to in certain ways, or give them images in certain situations? I really hope that there's going to be a deep cleaning, a deep dive into all this evil, trying to recruit people to come over, taking confused children, because that's what happened with that was a contributing factor to that last girl that I did a broadcast about, who went into a school. If you're surrounded by that kind of stuff, your own parents are off the rails with drugs and divorcing. You go to school and people are trying to get you involved in things that preteens and teenagers should not be exposed to, or not prepared emotionally to handle, don't want to be involved in that, but then think that there's no other way of life for them. You're going to get that kind of despondency. When you're in a culture and a community that is striving to live in an unnatural state, especially if you have a background in biblical teaching, bare bones biblical teaching, wouldn't you feel a hopelessness? So, yeah, I think the social media of all these cretins should be gone over, especially after what I talked about. Karen Bass. I remember a guy had a t-shirt, had a picture of a bass on it, and it said bass backwards on the t-shirt. And that's what I think of when I look at her, bass backwards. Her and Newsom were doing their little press conferences, and I was watching one of them a couple of days before yesterday. I was watching NPC show, which is some of you. So I've seen some people in my chats, in those chats, and he said, "Well, she's got a smile on her face." He said, "I was from L.A. I was in L.A. and I thought it was weird, but that's the way people who are born and raised in L.A. in these media people, stars, the beautiful people, government people, they all have like a phony smile on all the time. And I was working, doing something. I didn't even get to see her at that time. But I put the phone in my pocket and I listened to broadcasts with my headphones while I'm outside doing things. And I remember I had a friend that lived in a area that a lot of stars go to. And he would do work on their houses. And I think he was talking about, you all remember Willard Scott, the weatherman? Like Al Roker is the one people remember now as a famous weatherman, Al Roker. Well, before Al Roker, there was a guy named Willard Scott. Okay, he also played years ago, before he became a weatherman, he played Bozo the Clown. And Willard Scott lived in this area, territory, that's kind of like a retreat for wealthy people. And the guy said, it's the weirdest thing. He's always got this smile stamped on his face. You'd be talking about serious, about a bill. You'd be talking about what's wrong with his foundation or a pipe that needs to be fixed, whatever it was. But he just had that smile stamped on his face. So I didn't think too much of it because I heard that story. I didn't think too much of it when Frank was talking about the weird way they keep a smile on their face. But then I watched it. And then I watched Gavin Newsom when he was giving an interview and was kind of like doing a little I can't even put a word. It wasn't really a jig or kind of like a dance, I guess, and seemed excited and, flames and smoke in the background. And he is all amped up about his plans for the future. So that's part of the rude awakening. What I'm saying, rude awakening, my title. A lot of these wannabe beautiful people, okay, wannabe in what George Carlin called the big club that you and I ain't in. They're going to get that vibe. They're going to get that vibe of there's something wrong here. There's something devious going on here. And whatever they're going to try to do in California is not going to be in the best interests of the citizens of California. This is part of, some people call it the 16-year plan. Obama was the first phase of it, and Hillary was going to be the second phase. That's a reasonable concern or assumption. But no, these plans have been going on for a heck of a long time before any 16 years. So, that might be what it was, Todd. He might have been, I think he was both. I think he was Bozo and Ronald McDonald. I think that's how he got his Ronald McDonald job. He said, hey, I used to play Bozo, because Bozo was back in the 50s. I think Ronald McDonald came out in the late 60s, where Bozo came out in the 50s, and Ronald McDonald started really taking off in the 70s. And that's how Willard Scott built his career, being a television personality. Patches the clown? Was there a clown called Patches? J.P. Patches? Hi, Linda Marie. How are you doing? So anyway, uh, yeah, I agree. They're just getting geared up. What is going to be the most dangerous day? The day before inauguration? Well, that is when the rally is. The rally that the left can't figure out why Trump is doing it. I was thinking that it's going to be a time of disclosure, unity and disclosure. I saw one report, a short video about 3 weeks ago. And it was the guy who heads up the village people, right? I forget his name. He's the guy that's got the motorcycle helmet on. No, no, he's not the motorcycle. He might be. I don't know. But anyway, he was saying, I decided to not remove the permission for Trump to be using our theme song. He said, I think it's time for this country to come together. And he said, big thing. This was about 3 weeks ago. It was like a 3-minute clip on YouTube. And he said, I think you all going to see big things from us. He was talking about the band. And he said, we're gonna work on getting people happy and getting people together and this and that. I also remember a year ago or more, he did a short video and he looked like he'd been on a long drunk. I think he had a leather cap on. And he looked beat up, rough, but he was doing the interview. He looked like he'd been living on the streets. But anyway, he was like, no, man, I don't want them using our song. Who do they think they are? This was well over a year ago. And I said to myself, well, complain all you want, because what artists do is they sell commercial licensing. People like the Trump campaign buy, I think it used to be like $500 a year. You would pay to, I think it was like an artist guild, and then you could have a jukebox in your restaurant that could play, oldies and top 10, things like that. But if you didn't pay that money, because I had a significant other that I've said before, she was tighter than bark on a tree. She was so cheap. She didn't want to pay that $500, but she had music in her establishment. And I remember that guy with the United Artists, I think it was. I don't know what they call it now. This was years ago. And he got the money out of her. And I said, man, they must have some kind of power. Because like I said, she was cheap. She was the reason dimes were so skinny. She squeezed them so hard. But anyway, I was like, well, you can complain all you want, and because Trump's paid the licensing fee, and that gives him access to whatever songs are covered under that licensing fee. It's piles and piles of them. So it wasn't a surprise to me they turned around, because what he saw was opportunity for a revival. Money. And now it's come into the news. I didn't think I was going to bring it up a couple of times in my broadcast. Oh gosh, I hadn't even thought of that. I mean, I thought of it, but there's so much to think about it. EMP, yeah. Is that, where Elon will come into the mix with his setups? But anyway, so now I figured, like I said, it might have been a month ago when I saw him. He looked better. He looked healthier. He was wearing, it looked like a brand new outfit instead of that ratty stuff he was wearing a year or a year and a half ago when he was complaining. So maybe maybe to it. The band were like, we're has-beens. We're forgotten. And now there's all this national attention. We better cash in. Like Trump said, the best revenge is success. So although these weeks go by, 3 weeks, and the left is starting to hear about it. Now, if the news was reporting like they should have been reporting, because they were reporting on Isaac Hayes' family. They sued the Trump campaign and they won a settlement. And I don't know if you all saw that report or not. That was about a month ago. The Isaac Hayes family. And I watched that press conference. And of course they got the suits on. We won this settlement, and we hope this sends a message out that nobody can abuse the music of a family, whatever. And I said, well, they paid him some money just to get rid of your ass. Nobody listens to Isaac Hayes anymore. I know who he is. I've heard his music before. But it's been so many damn years, I couldn't tell you one song Isaac Hayes ever sang. So I didn't think much of that. And I knew if Trump wanted to play the Village People, there wasn't no way it wasn't going to get played. But they covered the Isaac Hayes thing because they won a settlement. And I guess they thought it made Trump look bad. But nobody picked up on it. Nobody cared. Nobody remembers Isaac Hayes. And I don't know who ever played the song. I don't remember a rally where an Isaac Hayes song was played. I think it was when the teleprompter broke or the mic screwed up and Trump stood around for a while and listened to a mix of songs. Maybe somebody put up an Isaac Hayes song and they saw a chance. But anyway, these guys aren't stupid. They're going to play now. I don't know if they're going to play. They're going to do multiple live performances. And word is that starting like yesterday, even though they put the word out almost a month ago that they were going to perform for Trump, it was well after his last rally. It was right after the election. He made that announcement. Oh, they're bombing his Facebook, the Village People's Facebook page, and putting nasty comments there. But they're getting drowned out. Just like the election. Too big to rig. Well, it's too big of a crowd going to support them on Facebook for these nitwits that are coming in trying to pick on them. But anyway, I don't know if they're going to play at the rally and also at the inaugural ball, which is going to be, which I also think is a subliminal signal. The inaugural ball, I mentioned in the past, don't know goggling. Do you know where the official inaugural ball is going to be held at on the night of the 20th? Because remember, it's not just him being sworn in. Trump won't go probably till midnight, maybe 1 o'clock, maybe not that long. But the parties, the inaugural parties, are going to go on till 2 or 3 in the morning. But do y'all know where the official ball is going to be held for Trump's inaugural? See if anybody gets. That's right, Theodosius. I almost said that. I had Shaft in my mind. Justin Bean said it too. But I wasn't sure if it was Isaac Hayes that sang that song or not. But that's been, my God, 60 years ago. At least 50. It's probably the only past mainstream song he's ever sung. Debbie, what are you talking about? Ohio, North Carolina, Tennessee, Florida? No. Yeah, Shaft was a movie. It's already been disclosed, Sissy, which where it will be held. But I think it's a shout out to a former president, thumb in the eye of everybody who pulled a silent coup, the silent coup on Richard Nixon. It's going to be held at, drum roll, I'll give it a couple more seconds if everybody gets it after that hint. Help. Debbie said help. It's going to be held at the Watergate Hotel, scene of the famous break-in that brought down Richard Nixon. I think Trump has given a shout out to Nixon saying, look, at how I'm back in the White House and I'm having my inaugural ball. Pappy got it, but I already said it, Pappy. Oh, Theodosius too. Right. I've had to wait another 2 seconds, but there's a delay. I'll have to wait a little longer before I disclose. So I'll give you Theodosius and Pappy 2 Bears credit. So anyway, we got in the back of our minds the drones. We got in the back of our minds the EMP attack. What else is floating around? We got fires, actual fires going on. EMP. Fog. Oh, yeah, that story. Oh, yeah. God. Well, I think they would pull that off more in coastal areas. I should have made note of that video I watched. I've got a video from a lady that I can't play. I kept it. I'll play because I want to survive till Trump's inaugural. That's why I'm glad I didn't get the clip I thought I had of Zuckerberg talking about the CVID, because I don't want to get knocked out for a week and miss being able to broadcast through the inaugural. After we get through the inaugural, I've got some clips I want to play. One of the things about Watergate that was talked about, and that I don't have a clip for, but I will be looking for, or I can talk about it more freely. And I met G. Gordon Liddy. I got his. He sent me a picture of himself and he signed it to me. You know, he said to Mountain Man, and This is before. I mean, how long ago was this? But anyway, I think he liked me good enough. That was around the same time I like I said, I talked with Mark Levin. I worked with had a friend, still do have him as a friend. He's old, very old. Used to work under Mark Levin at Ronald Reagan's Justice Department. Mark Levin was the lead. No, he's the supervising prosecutor for all the other prosecutors in the Reagan administration. But anyway, G. Gordon Liddy told some good stories about how he got through prison and I don't know how he is now, but at the time his mind was very sharp, very active. And but anyway, back in those days, they didn't have DVDs. Back in those days, they didn't have video recordings like we have now. Back in those days, you had beta and VHS tapes. You all remember that? Matter of fact, I got the entire all the what do you call them? The whole series of Star Trek from beginning to end, television series, all the episodes in a box set of, get this, beta tapes. And that's from way back, way back. But anyway, the story is, as I do my weave, the story is that Watergate break-in. Because when you think about it, why would they want to go into the DNC? What could they possibly get? Hubert Humphrey's speech? They didn't have a debate to mount anything, or I think they already had their debate. What would they be trying to find out? Word on the street was that they had a bunch of tapes. Nixon taped his conversations, Theodosius. He taped his Nixon tapes were very famous. The 7-minute gap, I believe it was, 6-minute gap, whatever it was. When Judge John Sirica ordered the tapes to be turned over. That was a big case about executive privilege. But the story is they were getting tapes on each other so they could make sure if they got a congressman elected, that congressman would walk the chalk. It's the same thing as the Epstein business, okay? But in more primitive form. So why would the DNC spend millions of dollars and back a candidate and do all this if they can't control them? So they were in there for videos and also financial transaction records. And when you think about it, that's the only thing that makes sense. Why would they risk going into the DNC? Except to find out what they were doing with their money, who they had bribed, who was a captured asset, supposedly supposed to be a senator or congressman, but they're really a captured asset. If you ever watched a movie about Howard Hughes's life, that Leonardo DiCaprio was in. I don't remember the name of it. Was it Wings? No, that was the name of the movie that Howard Hughes produced back in the late 20s or 30s. What was that movie? Name of the movie where DiCaprio played Howard Hughes. You remember John Alda? He played Hawkeye in MASH, right? Alan Alda. He played the role of a senator. And the senator was trying to destroy Howard Hughes because Howard Hughes was starting up TWA and was going to be able to do transatlantic flights. And the owner of Pan Am had the senator in his pocket and was using the senator to destroy Howard Hughes. Anyway, I'm sure that is not the whole story. But by the way, the president of Pan Am was played by, drumroll, Alec Baldwin. And in the Godfather movies, we see the senator who called Al Pacino a greaseball, basically put up the arm on him for money and tried to have him put in jail for the benefit of, I guess the character was really supposed to be Meyer Lansky. But anyway, what I'm pointing out is even in Hollywood movies for the past 50 years, even going all the way back to Howard Hughes, back in the 1960s, corruption was open and known in Congress. Richard Nixon wasn't no dummy. The Aviator, that's right, Todd, yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Bob Woodward, Gary? Yeah, Bob Woodward. Woodward and Bernstein. So anyway, Nixon wanted to find out. Remember, he's fresh off of, you take Johnson out of the picture. What happened to Kennedy, okay? Johnson is just an extension of the Kennedy administration. So he was trying to be surreptitious to find out what was going on with the C.I.A. and senators and House members. Because that kind of money for those purposes was controlled by the DNC. It's just like now, if you go to these websites that ABC, I guess, and CBS are putting up, if you want to donate and help the people of Los Angeles, you get on this website. Where does it take you to? Hi, Cola. Where does it take you to? It takes you to, see who guesses, without goggling. When you go to the Aid for Los Angeles Victims, the first place it goes to, Theodosi says DNC, the first place it goes to is Gavin Newsom's political machine, which is tied into Act Blue. Everything goes to Act Blue. And we know that all the Act Blue money is controlled by the DNC. So the DNC is a criminal organization. And the news media is an arm of the DNC. At least ABC, CBS. So Anyway, Trump going to the Watergate Hotel for his inaugural ball is a big signal to the deep state. Okay. They were at their apex when they assassinated Kennedy. That is when they not only got into the big leagues, but became the big leagues. And then their next triumph was muting and snuffing out Ronald Reagan's true agenda. They tried to take him out totally, but they just reined him in. But what do they got working against them? Not just Donald Trump, but they got the ghosts in the machine. They've got military intelligence. They've got a response to their illegal psychological warfare where we're conducting lawful counterinsurgency. We are the media now, where we can, if people start saying, it starts getting around with this lady on X talking about tunnels in LA, easily verified to people that are going, is that crazy? You go, no, just look it up. Nexium, Peter Nygaard, look it up. They were trafficking human beings, underage kids. This guy's in jail for the next 100 years. Well, he won't be there that long, but he's there for the rest of his flipping life. And who else went to jail is the heiress to the Bacardi fortune. And what's the girl's name who starred in Smallville? And they had tunnels leading to the Getty mansion from the Nexium compound where they could take people back and forth, young people back and forth. And so, yeah, what she's saying doesn't surprise me because I already heard about it. I'm sorry, I don't know why you didn't hear about it. I'm saying that's the way you talk to your friends. Say, gee, everybody knows about that. The Smallville actress had shocked everybody. But they don't know because Allison Mack, that's right, Wanda. They don't know because nobody reports on it. So that's why we have to do it. Why we have to do it. Now that X has been blown open, now that Facebook is getting blown open, we can really get to work. And get to work we will. But the pill has to be easy to swallow. Easy to swallow. That's why I'm saying refrain from any of the real hard to believe and hard to swallow stuff. Because the stuff I just talked about with the Gettys, Nexium, Allison Mack, Bacardi Fortune, those were hard enough to swallow. But not now. Not now. But how many people know about it? Not a lot. Not a lot, but it's going to be a lot more. So that's how you work a counterinsurgency, a lawful psychological warfare. The truth. Ha ha ha. Ketchup people, yeah. Ketchup. Oh, well, that's good to hear, Gary, that you're starting to be able to have civil arguments instead of the alternative, which is never any fun. Never any fun. But I have to get that complete quote. I can paraphrase it. I think it was James Madison said that trying to impart knowledge to a stubborn person is like giving medicine to the dead. That's not exactly it, but that's the gist. Trying to impart knowledge, not argument, facts to a stubborn person is like trying to give medicine to the dead. So they have to make the choice whether they're going to be stubborn or not. And Angela says, pearls before swine. Well, you know, some people act like swine. That doesn't mean they are swine. That's why I've said before in the past, I tell people, I don't call them ignorant. I tell them not to act ignorant. I don't call them stupid. I say, don't act stupid. You're better than that. Because most people are smart and most people are good. I've been hearing something I said right when these fires broke out. I'm starting to hear it by the people getting up at the microphones. Remember when these and I talked about the same saying during the Ukrainian conflicts, and I was saying in war and disasters, you see the best of people and you see the worst of people. Remember I said that? I've said that multiple times over the years. And now you're starting to hear that exact same saying. And the other thing, and I said, when you get in situations that are traumatic, devastating, and you're there to kind of help pick up the pieces or organize or assist, that you treat people the way you would want your mother to be treated. And I said, don't think about anybody else. Even don't think about, no, I think I'll treat this person the way I would treat my brother. No, I'll treat this person the way I would treat my dad. No, your mother. Every single person. And I think that's the next thing. Well, a lot of these people that are engaged in government haven't been taught that. But most people, if they think about that concept of how to treat others and implement that concept, you would have a much more civil society, much more considerate society. Even if you're dealing with a 250-pound old man, whatever, that lost his home or whatever, you talk to him the way you would want to talk somebody to talk to your mom, with respect and concern and caring. So if people got that in their heads in government, it'd be a lot different. Yeah, we can't just throw people away. They can throw themselves away. It's up to them. It's up to them. Debbie said we have to be there for everyone. Doesn't matter. That's right. But also remember, like Christ said, when you go to someone's house with the word and they turn you away, they run you out or tell you to leave or don't, he said, shake the dust of their house from your feet, right? And move on. Because what's going to happen to them will be worse than that of Sodom and Gomorrah. So people can always make a choice. Because people can sense if you're coming around to judge or dominate or force anything, if they feel like you're looking down on them, they're there, like I said, their home's destroyed, they have nowhere to turn, nowhere to go, and you talk down to them, or if they're trying to figure out what is wrong with this world. Now, not just the person who suffered a disaster, but people are having psychological ramifications in their own minds when they're waking up to the fact that things are seriously wrong and that the people in charge of our government not only not give a damn about us, but want to destroy us. Depopulation, own nothing, be happy, eat the bugs. So when you talk to them to wake them up, you do it just like you'd be breaking the news to your mom. And that's why you don't talk about stuff that's really out there or really scary. Would you do that to your mother? Now, you would tell your mom, oh, you didn't hear about the Nexium cult? That guy went to jail forever? Alice Mack, Bacardi, blah, blah, tunnels. Sure, that's fine. But you wouldn't want to terrify your mother, because we've been told we're not going to know it all. Because if we were told everything, 90% of the population would need psychiatric care. I don't take that statement lightly. If true, you would, Theodosius. What are you talking about? I've been over that before. We're supposed to protect our loved ones from terror, not get them to dream about it at night. That's why people who have been to war and seen horrible things don't talk about it very much. Because the whole reason they're over there is so it doesn't come here. What parent, what father would tell their children details about those kinds of horrors? You're supposed to protect the people you love, but let them know the seriousness without getting into details. So, anyway, yeah, that's right. Protect the weak. Be there. Be there for them. And we can't shock the conscience of people. We can't get people thinking that the biggest enemy is hopelessness. When people start losing their morale, when they get despondent and depressed, fear and depression is a nation's biggest enemy. And that's all they've been cultivating. Really, at a high degree since the 90s, with Al Gore, the earth has a fever, and putting that crap in every school across the country. You all remember, I remember, kids coming home from school upset, thinking, what's the point of ever having children? Mad at their parents for destroying the earth because Al Gore said so. Demoralize a generation. And then after that, they started with this tranny crap. Talk about a 1-2 punch. We're supposed, Al Gore, if I ever saw him again, because I met him before, I know what I'd tell him. And, be perfectly acceptable, perfectly fine, but he would know exactly where he stood with me. That's right, Judy. Yeah. Yeah, he never talked about it because there's nothing anyone can do about what happened. But if you talk about it, it'll psychologically harm people. And you don't want to do that to your children. You don't want to do it to your parents. Citizen Free Press put a thing up, said Peter Thiel op-ed causes a stir. What was the op-ed? What's the big stir? A term you all have heard me say many times. A time for truth and reconciliation. Trump's return to the White House augurs the apocalypse of the ancient regime's secrets. The apocalypsis. I got to look that one up. The apocalypsis of the ancient regime's secrets. But how many times have you all heard me, you're my witness, heard me talk about truth and reconciliation? Now it's starting to come out in print and being discussed on Truth Social. But we've been discussing it for a long time. Devin Nunes put out something about Christopher Wray. He says, of course, he would go on 60 Minutes. Christopher Wray, I said, is a wild card. We don't know if he's a gray hat, a secret white hat, or a black hat. We're going to find out. But he went on CBS, the organization that should lose their broadcasting license after what they've done to Trump and to the American people and the lies they tell. But anyway, this guy called Mr. Producer puts out, FBI director claims Biden had no influence on Trump investigations. The interviewer says, what influence did the Biden White House have on any of these Trump investigations? Wray responds, I haven't had any interaction with the Biden White House about investigations into the former president. Interviewer said, anybody at the FBI? And Wray said, not to my knowledge. So Wray is either fibbing or running cover temporarily, or, who knows? Kevin O'Leary is laying out his plans to buy TikTok. Because what's going on with TikTok? The clock. That's what's going on. TikTok, what do they got? 5 days? He's got to put a deal together within the next 5 days, or it's going to get shut down. So we'll see what happens there. Boy, we got a lot of stuff going on. Have you all heard this guy named Sam Harris? He's a podcaster. I've seen him a couple of times, but I don't associate him with any big channels. But he was on Bill Maher's show. He was on Bill Maher's show saying he didn't believe a bullet hit Trump. Why would you talk about an ignorant statement? Bill Maher even told him that's dumb. I think he even said stupid. He said one of those two words, I'm pretty sure. Podcaster Sam Harris spreads the hoax that President-elect Trump wasn't actually shot at Butler. Quote, in fact, a teleprompter was hit by a rifle round, and we know there was shattered glass. That makes more sense to me. That was a piece. Jack Posobiec went on to say the reason Sam Harris has to spread hoaxes about the Trump assassination attempt is that it was hate and lies like his own that caused the attempt in the first place. Deep down, he knows this, and thus he has a psychological need to deny the attack took place, even though a man died. Notice I'm not mushing my words up as much. I better watch what I'm doing, because I want to make it past the inauguration. I don't want to get taken down. Oh, where's Miss Mindersu? I got to tell her I didn't see what she was talking about. Miss Mindersu, if you're out there, I didn't see what you were talking about. What you put in the comments, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I don't believe it's a problem. If you're out there, don't worry. Everything's fine. Tammy, how you doing? Television shows. Holy cow, you think so? No, they're too arrogant. Well, I don't, if the news doesn't report on this stuff, nobody's going to hear about it anyway. But if you're on Meta, this story about these, what was it? The Chicago public schools. They had tens of thousands of tax-funded devices like iPads and laptops went missing from public schools last year. I remember reading an article on the air about that. They couldn't find it. I said, well, they stole the damn money, never bought the devices. Remember that? I said, because, those devices, they're government owned, they can track them. They're going to have a EIN number. And we didn't hear no more about it. Well, now it turns out they ended up in 108 countries. That was a report from End Wokeness. I got a list of the countries they ended up. 108 countries. Millions of dollars. But of course, that could have been something like this dopey fire department in Los Angeles sending all the equipment over to Ukraine. Oh, the Ukraine is sending like 110 or 120 firefighters over here to help fight the fires. Thanks a lot. Diamond Silk, she put out, now that Mark Zuckerberg has had a come to Jesus moment and openly admitted to censorship, the very thing that my sister and I told y'all when we testified in Congress on April 26, 2018, even though we were called conspiracy theorists, will he finally man up? I think she's going to get a settlement. After realizing he's not the arbiter of truth, if he, Zuckerberg, is really sincere about once again allowing free speech on his platform, especially after the Facebook policy team came to the conclusion that Diamond Silk content and the brand was determined, quote, unsafe to the community, unquote, on April 5th, 2018 at 3:40 p.m. That's why she went to Congress, because they took them down and said Diamond Silk was unsafe for the community. What the hell? he would immediately, one, stop deteriorating the legacy that my sister and I built on Facebook for the last 10 years by removing all the bias, tactics, labels, shadow banning, and any other form of censorship that restricts post visibility and engagement. That's one thing she's demanding, because this is a demand letter, I think. 2, stop purging and deleting followers from my page. 3, stop restricting people from sharing, liking, and commenting on my posts. It is no longer a conspiracy theory. I have all the receipts since 2017, so get back to your roots. That's signed Silk from Diamond and Silk. That is called actual damages. That's suffering actual damages and public ridicule. Oh, Tammy, you got restricted? Well, Trump can't do much if he's not in office, Tammy. Got to get him over the finish line. Don't be like the Democrats saying, oh, things are so terrible. Trump is a terrible president. Look at everything that's going wrong. Because he's not in office yet. He can't lock anybody up, technically speaking. Rudy Giuliani. Now, this was in response to Trump putting out, I put it up last night, Save Rudy. He just put it out there. He didn't say, Merrick Garland, save Rudy. Chris Wray, save Rudy. He didn't say it to anyone. He just put it out there, save Rudy. Well, Rudy Giuliani put up Wilkie Farr. That's the law firm, Wilkie Farr, led by Hunter Biden's former partner, Michael Gottlieb, participants in persecuting Trump's lawyers, somehow got 2 judges to read long and phony decisions from the bench prepared well before our side of the case was finished. Not corrupt? Question mark. Consequences? Question mark. That's from Rudy Giuliani's Truth Social page. There is going to be consequences. They will be proven corrupt. Screwing around with as far as I'm concerned, Rudy Giuliani is the nation's top prosecutor. He's been a top prosecutor since the 70s. And he's America's mayor, and nobody can take that away from him. Here's that article, Jack Posobiec put it up. Nearly half of federal employees plan to resist Trump. Poll finds. Deep state gearing up. That's from the Daily Signal. A groundbreaking survey from RMG Research finds that the bureaucrats in the federal government plan to act like a deep state opposing Trump. They plan to act like they are the deep state. They are the deep state. Pull them up, branch and root. Posobiec said, soon we will find out which members of the U.S. government are taking donations from defense contractors directly funded by the Ukraine war. War is a racket. Are you paying attention yet? Hashtag save Rudy. Now, I don't know how true this is. Did you all hear among the houses that got burned down in Los Angeles, where powerful fires are raging now, real estate objects, namely mansions, belonging to high-ranking Ukrainian military generals have been destroyed. This is reported by the Telegram channel, quote, Military Observer, unquote, with references to sources. I'm going to read it. Eight generals, I believe. Let me see. According to Ukrainian sources, during large-scale fires in Los Angeles, 8 mansions belonging to high-ranking Ukrainian military burned down. The total value of the property reaches $90 million, and it was purchased with money allocated by the West as part of financial assistance to Kiev after the start of the war. Nobody reporting on it. They barely reported on Zelensky buying former Prince, now King Charles's home in London, that mansion. Giuliani put up again, the consequences of political persecution, Wilkie Farr and Gallagher LLP, miscalculation in the era of Trump. This is an op-ed by Stephen Schumacher. As the Trump administration prepares to return to the White House, the political and professional landscape in Washington, D.C. is set to change dramatically. Yeah, I agree with that. I said before, man, if I was younger, I'd be getting a law firm going. Tom Hanks is in Greece. Theodosius, he doesn't care. So anyway, we've got this, we got confirmation starting tomorrow. And, you know, people are going to be putting up opposing pictures, okay? You look at what the Senate confirmed for Biden. All those lunatics, weirdos, okay, now that Zuckerberg says I can say it, mentally ill individuals, the Senate confirmed all that garbage. They shouldn't have one bit of a problem with what we're doing right now. So that's going to be exciting to watch. But I heard that they're going to go through the average American, probably it's going to be something boring. But they really don't have any ammunition to stop a single one. Who is Andrew McKenna? He's a general, isn't he? Andrew McKenna. Does anybody in the chat know who Andrew McKenna is? Trump mentioned him. He says Andrew McKenna will not be invited to join the Trump administration as Secretary of the Air Force or anything else. That is fake news put out by Politico. That's what he put out today. And whoever Andrew McKenna is, you're not going to be anywhere in the administration, okay? But somebody feels strong enough to put up his name. And the other thing Giuliani put up was he retruthed what Trump put out, Save Rudy. And he said, we must stop the Marxism in the judicial system. Well, yeah, I agree that, but it's way more than the judicial system. Secret Service. Secret Service calls Trump inauguration a higher threat environment, but says they're ready. LA Times owner, Dr. Pat Soon-Shiong. I didn't know the LA Times was owned by Pat Soon-Shiong. But anyway, he says it was a mistake to endorse Karen Bass for mayor in 2022 because, quote, competence matters. They need to drill down on Karen Bass and this daggone Venceramos brigade reporting to the Cuban government and enforce the Communist Control Act. Well, what do you all think about Carrie Underwood? What do y'all think about? We already talked about the Village People. The Village People are going to be performing. I hope they get themselves, pumped up and practiced and put on a really good performance. Revive a bygone career. But what's her name? Carrie Underwood. Carrie Underwood to perform America the Beautiful at Trump's inauguration. I haven't heard anything bad about Carrie Underwood. What's her name? Taylor Swift. She gave $10 million to LA. Which we know a portion of that is going to the DNC, all of it, really, through Act Blue. Taylor Swift, but also Beyonce is given $2.5 million. How much did Kamala pay her? Everybody thought she was doing a concert and booed. She got $10 million, I believe. And she's only going to give back a lousy $2.5 million. So anyway, she said, this is Carrie Underwood in the Hollywood Reporter. She said, I love our country and am honored to have been asked to sing at the inauguration and to be a small part of this historic event, Underwood said in a statement. I am humbled to answer the call at a time when we must all come together in the spirit of unity and looking to the future. So we'll see how many crazed liberals come after her. But they are quickly going out of vogue. And the other thing, I believe this was Trump put this out. No, it's Free Press. The dump truck used during the campaign will appear in Trump inaugural parade. That's funny. So, I think Bezos, he's given, he's ponying up $40 million to do that documentary on Melania Trump. But Diamond Silk put out Washington Post viewership craters to new low. And she asks, are people tired of being lied to? How long can they go? Within 1 week to go before President-elect Donald Trump is inaugurated for a second time, the mainstream media is looking weaker than ever. Cratering in views. The Washington Post digital views have cratered. So anyway, I think he's got enough money. He bought the Post just to let it crash and burn. Leslie Stahl attempted to get Jamie Dimon to dump on Trump. especially over tariff policies, and she failed bigly. Leslie Stahl, she's 60 Minutes and CBS, right? Well, I tell you one thing to watch for with the confirmation hearings. You got this one senator, what's his name? Richard Blumenthal. He's going to be questioning Hegseth and says he's inclined to vote against Hegseth. But if you'll remember, he's the one who lied about his military service. Laura Loomer put up, U.S. Senator lied about Vietnam service, attacks Pete Hegseth's qualifications. Hypocrisy truly has no bounds within the ranks of Senate Democrats. On Tuesday, that's tomorrow, Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal will attack Pete Hegseth during Hegseth's Senate Armed Services Committee hearing. So that would be wild to see. Hypocrisy. Yeah, they have no shame. Ah, yes. Yes, Satan is done. What the miracle at Lourdes? Remember that? At Fatima. The secrets of Fatima. When the Virgin Mary appeared to those children back in the 1920s, and one of the kids said, Mary said she had already crushed the head of the serpent, but we had a lot of danger ahead. A lot of danger ahead. Holy cow, Todd, that is a collapse. Yeah, nobody wants to read that garbage anymore. Yeah, Theodos, that was in Portugal. So hopefully what was being discussed was World War II, and we've gone over the warnings about horrible loss of life and things like that. Cola, I would research that because they say Pope John Paul released the last secret of Fatima prior to his death, but it's unclear. It's unclear. They say the last secret of Fatima was something like a man in white robes would walk over the top of the bodies of martyrs. Something similar to that. It's been a while since I've checked it out. But use Bing or something other than Goggle, because Goggle's probably altered or screwed up the real story of Fatima. And also, you might want to check out Padre Pio, P-I-O. Some of his stories and videos, they got them on YouTube. I think you'll find that interesting. Where he told him, go clean your filthy soul. He refused to give somebody, he refused to give him absolution at confession. He said, go clean your filthy soul. And a period of years went by, and this individual came back. And got absolution for his horrible sin. But he had to clean his filthy soul. It's your soul. You got to keep it clean. And if it gets dirty, you got to clean it up. So anyway, folks, I'm just looking at the chats. All right. Well, anyway, so we have the rally on the 19th. Aside from wondering day to day what is going to be the next, this crap in Los Angeles was not an accident. And Andy No put up pictures of 4 arsonists they caught. I'll have to find that post number where they put up all those articles of arsonists that have been caught in California over the years. I showed you the video where this kid was taking brand new gas cans, 5-gallon red gas cans, and throwing them. You all that saw I think it was my last video. You know how much those gas cans cost? And then in California to fill them up, I mean, you're probably looking at the cost of the can and the gas to fill it. Probably around $75 each. The cost of a brand new can and then the cost to fill it. To just throw it out on the side of the road to help the fire spread. Intentional chaos, intentional destruction for their project, whatever that is, LA 2028 or whatever that crap is they're trying to push on people. And it's going to be a rude awakening for all the celebrities that think they're in with the in crowd when they get told to hit the road. Here's a few pennies for your property. But, it's coming to a head. We got Trump coming in. So let's see what else I have my title on. Oh, I put in there bigger than the question mark. Remember what we all know, most of us in the chats or watch this video, bigger than the Super Bowl. It's going to make the Super Bowl look like a puppy show. We were always wondering, what are they talking about? Is this the year we find out? When's the Super Bowl? February 9th? Super Bowl right around the corner, and we were told it's going to be bigger than the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl will look like a puppy show. So if we're the 9th, let's see, that's a month. No, 19 days plus, yeah, it's about a month. A little over 3 weeks. So we will see what's going to be bigger than the Super Bowl, what's going to make the Super Bowl look like a puppy show. We've been wondering about that every year, and I think this is the year we're going to find out. And we might get a 24-hour advance notice during the 19th rally on the 19th. I don't know. Might be just a unity rally, but it might be something where people get told stuff to prepare them psychologically and to get them to look forward to something good happen or brace themselves. Or a major exposure that's going to where these people won't be able to walk down the streets. It's getting that way in LA. I mean, the finger pointing, the excuses that they're making, that climate change started this, that fires are racist, all that kind of crap. People are tired of hearing it. So, yeah, hit the thumbs up on the way out. And I appreciate everybody that's going to buy me a coffee to help me out. I don't know who's got the name on email that says Younger. But this month, Lone Wolf came by. Hilarious. I've seen Hilarious in there. And I've seen Todd's in here. I don't know, Dan show up. And Mike and Bev, Gary, Pappy Two Bears. Aaron was a godfather. He stopped by right at the beginning of the month. So this month it's been pretty good. I appreciate everybody stop by, and hopefully I didn't leave anybody out. I can't go out into the app to read them off, or I'll drop off the screen. You heard today it's going to be some big truths, Tammy. Who'd you hear it from? That's probably the best way to look at it, Gary. There's good times ahead. Don't worry about dates. Don't worry about dates. It's just we're entering a golden age. And we're going to have transparency. And we're going to clean our government out of these Marxist lunatics. All right, folks. Well, unless something big happens, I won't be broadcasting tomorrow. Tuesdays, I don't usually broadcast. But if something big happens, I will. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. And remember, if you give me a thumbs up, it helps the video get around. I appreciate it, folks. So once again, I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. And I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.